Hi, and welcome back to another episode of the MoRo Talk Show. And I'm very happy today to have Alana Scott. How are you?
Good. I'm happy to be here.
Good. Okay, and we're going to, as I always do, we're going to jump right in. Alana, how long have you been in Rotary, and who is your sponsor?
So I started in Rotary in 2018, and my sponsor was Lynn Dickerson.
Oh.
So I remember the day that she invited me to one of the meetings. It was probably a Chris Peterson thing, because it was one of those kind of invite people who might be interested. So there was
a membership drive?
Right, a membership drive. And there were maybe 3 of us with Lynn. So that was in 2018. And then I was thinking about this, and really, you were the closer. So a few weeks later, after Lynn took me, invited me to the meeting, then you and I went to lunch. It was at Rosslin's Goat. So it was right below your old office. And you brought all of this information, and you shared a bunch of details about the different committees. And so it was like a collective effort now that I think back, because she got me in and you closed the deal. So
all right. We worked as a good team.
You did.
Lynn was my sponsor.
Oh.
And Lynn is great about just inviting people to Rotary.
Yeah.
And that's all you need to do. And, it will, quote unquote, sell itself.
Yeah.
So I'm glad I was able to help close. And I think I was, and Lynn will always get the credit for being your sponsor, and that's great. I think I was probably annoyed with myself because I didn't invite more people from Leadership Modesto, and I was like, how did Lynn get to Alana first? Well, I can at least help close this deal, so.
Yeah, and there's still some LEMO people that are on that want to join. They're just, schedules are out there, so.
Sure. It's the middle of the day, it's kind of tough.
Yeah.
When we're in Rotary and when we're, you start to kind of rise up the ranks, we talk about people's Rotary moments. So, a lot of people join for networking, and that's fine, and I don't think we should run away from that. But, when people are in, there's usually something else that will kind of hook them and get them to say, like, I like this, I want to stay in, I want to, see what's going on with Rotary. So do you have one of those moments?
Yeah, I think for me, Rotary moment. So I think for me, I joined with the pretense that it was a great opportunity to serve with like-minded people and to do, and for me, I really believed that it was you're serving under the model of Rotary.
Right.
So these are our initiatives, this is our mission, and these are the projects, which was great because I thought it would be a wonderful opportunity to be able to do that. But what I didn't expect, and the thing that really hooked me, was how embracing the club was of all of my passions, specifically well. And I think my Rotary moment probably was the day that I received the email from Lou Friedman asking well to be the program for Rotary. And that moment really made me aware of the fact that our club is not just about all the incredible projects that we have going, but we're also about the individuals in the club and the passions that they have. And so I think for me, that was the moment when I realized, wow, they really care about this little thing that I'm doing,
That's great. All right, if somebody in our audience does not know, I want you to explain what WELL is.
Absolutely, of course. I love talking about WELL.
Right.
So WELL is the acronym for Women's Education and Leadership League. And we're a 501c3 nonprofit. We were founded in we received our status from the IRS in October of 2015. And our mission is to enrich women's lives with financial literacy, wellness education, and leadership. And so we accomplish that through a 5 to 6 week, depending on the group, a 5 to 6 week program where we teach financial literacy, emotional wellness, physical wellness, leadership skills. And we do this in small groups, about 10 to 12 at a time, which allows for the ladies in the group who are receiving the education to build a bond with one another that also helps them grow. And this has proven to be incredibly successful. And so it was a group of leaders in our community that came together that developed this. And the program, so we teach this program to a range of different organizations and also a standalone. So we teach this to Sierra Vista's First Step program, Stanislaus County Office of Education, to the educators there, San Joaquin Family Justice Center, to their victims, and Modesto Streets team, El Concilio, and then we do our own community Living Well program. And beyond our Living Well program, we also provide different collaborations that we have with different organizations, such as with El Concilio, we have a entrepreneur program that we provide, which you were actually one of our presenters to.
Yeah, that's right.
And Lynn Dickerson, Marianne Cannon, many of our other our Rotary members.
Right, great
supported
ladies.
well. And we also provide a scholarship to women who want a hand up in life, who are in college or in a trade school, some type of higher education. So to go back to my Rotary moment, when Lou Friedman invited me to come and share with MoRo about who we are and what we do, we invited one of our graduates, Maricela, to share as well. And it was really fun because the club didn't really know she was there, and we sort of wove her story into what we do and how we help women. And so we started off talking about how she really overcame homelessness, incarceration, abuse, just so many tragedies in her life. And she came to us while she was still living in the homeless hotel. And so going through the Living Well program, the program itself was incredible, but I think what really helped her get to where she is today, which now she has a successful career, she's on 0 assistance, she's happily married, she's getting her education. It was a collective between the other organizations helping her, so Sierra Vista's First Step program, CARE, the program over at MJC, and then our WELL program. But in our WELL program, the one that she was a part of was our community program. And so we had a collective group of community members. So it was Maricela and some of her classmates from MJC and from Sierra Vista, but it was also a philanthropist in our community and attorney in our community. So she was in this network that really helped her. And so now she has people in her life where she can reach out and say, hey, can I put you down as a letter of reference for this job? Or can I put you down, or will you write me a letter of recommendation for the scholarship or this house that I want to get into? And so that gave her the confidence to not only speak at Rotary, but now she has a community and a network at Rotary that now she reaches out to. So that day that she came and spoke, people came up to her afterwards and they gave her her business cards. And she was able to utilize that and to reach out to people like Phil Trumpeter and Brad Hahn and the people in our club. So that really shaped her life in a lot of ways. And a lot of our WELL ladies too, because they come periodically to our MoRo meetings.
We should invite her to be a member.
I know.
We should.
We
Have her as
should.
a
I'll
guest.
sponsor her.
That's great. So your Rotary moment is obviously, you've got a passion for WELL, and it's one of your driving passions in life. I think it's wonderful. I think it's empowering. And then you not only, hey, you joined Rotary with I do WELL, but I'm here for Rotary.
Yeah.
And then we invite you, not me personally, but others in Rotary invite you to share the WELL story.
Yeah.
And then so it's like, oh yeah, we can talk about all the other good things that are happening in this community. And it's fairly new, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think it had ever been really in depth talked about at Rotary before.
Yeah.
So it's important that we do those things that are, with those organizations that are new, or maybe they've kind of changed focus, or all those things. And then I'm going to be perfectly transparent with you, it gets tough because then when you have one nonprofit speak, the others say, hey, we want to speak too.
Right.
It's like, oh yeah, I know, but are you new or are you, so it's hard because we want to be balanced and those type of things, but Oh, well, at least it was a Rotary moment for you, and it was a very great one. It was a great presentation, so.
Well, and that's what's so wonderful about our club, because the established nonprofit executive directors that are a part of our club we're completely embracing. So, for example, we currently have one of our ladies with going through LearnQuest to get her GED.
Right.
So, I mean, the collaboration and support has been astronomical.
Very
So,
good.
Sorry,
Good.
Ben.
That's all right. You and I met up in Leadership Modesto.
Yeah.
What is Leadership Modesto? Not that you were speaking for it, but
Well, to the best of my description.
Right.
So it's a organization through the Chamber of Commerce here
Mm-hmm.
in Modesto that invites, gosh, I don't even know how many people they invite to apply, but different people in our community to apply. And it was an amazing program. Yeah, it was really a behind the scenes look of our town. So we had the opportunity to go see Keith Flora's farm, the Ratto brothers. We went up to the Capitol.
right.
So
Right.
it was a really
Yeah, there's like
wonderful.
a state government day, there's like a nonprofit day, there's a ag day. So we
Yeah.
get to see different industries. You and I were in the same class. I think we were legally obligated to say best class ever.
Best class ever,
Right,
for
which is
sure.
true.
I feel like we were.
Well, yeah, I know we were. So, I think that we in MoRo could do a better job potentially of, like, when that list comes out, really hooking those people in.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a really great idea. Well, actually, I sponsored Kirsty Boyette, and I felt in Limo Leadership Modesto, I sort of felt like I won the lottery because Kirsty and I knew each other prior, more like acquaintances, and for our retreat, the steering committee paired us up with roommates. I don't know if they did for the guys, but for the women they did. And at the hotel, some of us had really small rooms with queen-size beds you had to share. So I was like, oh. But being a roommate with Kirsty was the best experience because she was so fun and so inspiring and just completely just engaged in the program. So that entire weekend where we learned so much, being able to share those experiences with her, we became really great friends. And the reason that I say I felt like I won the lottery is I'll never forget the day that we, as a Limo class, decided to get together and really strategize about our project. And we went to Conchetta. Do you remember? And Paul put us in that back room in a circle. Our dinner table was in a circle, and we went around the circle, and everyone shared what their ideas were for a class project. And I felt a little apprehensive when the class voted on this huge, grandiose project, very time-consuming, expensive, to rebuild the playground. And I thought, oh my gosh, we have such a short amount of time. How on earth are we going to get this project done? And me of little faith, I did not know Kirsty as well as we know her now, but she really, it was really incredible to watch her kind of emerge and kind of lead our class through that project. I mean, she was really like our CEO, our fund developer, our treasurer, our secretary, and every time someone would get a new donor or a new connection to get this project done, she was cheerleading for us and engaging us, and we got it done. But I don't think we could have done that without Kirsty.
No.
Yeah. And so there was like a unanimous vote that she was our winner. What did
I
they
think
call?
MVP or something
Yeah,
like that.
the VIP or MVP.
Which she definitely should have been.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was a fun
Right.
experience.
It was. Kirsty was absolutely great in that program. I got to work with her just on a couple of those planning meetings, and she was just like, she came prepared, took more notes, went out, did more things. We worked as a good group, and I think it's a natural feeder for Rotary, like to say, okay, you've just graduated from Leadership Modesto, come see what Modesto Rotary Club's all about.
I love that idea. If we could get with, Kirsty's a part of the committee, so maybe we could ask her.
The chamber, sure.
If one of their Limo days could be to come and attend a MoRo meeting.
I like it.
Yeah.
That's a very good idea. We'll
Let's
put
do
Kirsty
this.
on it.
Yeah,
Right,
we'll put her on that.
We'll give her the idea and we'll make her do it. Sorry, Kirsty. I want to jump back to well, and you've named a couple of them,
Yeah.
but like Brad Hahn or Phil Trumpeter or Lynn or Marianne
Yeah.
Cannon. Are there any other Rotarians that have helped you with the well? Are there
Oh
any
my
that are
gosh.
sitting on the board, or tell me about Rotarians that have helped you?
Well, this is the thing. So the day that Lou invited us to share,
Mm-hmm.
I did not imagine that it would come to this. So our club is so generous.
Mm-hmm.
And so immediately after we spoke and shared our story, Phil Trumpeter and Brad Hahn said, I want to sponsor an entire Living Well program. Not
wow.
one individual, but
Yeah.
entire program.
Wow.
And then Kate Donovan followed suit.
Mm-hmm.
She reached out. And I feel as though I'm going to miss all the names. I feel like I should
No, and
follow up
that's
with
yeah,
you later.
right. Okay.
But Lynn Dickerson then sponsored an
Sure.
individual. I will get you those names
Sure.
because I'm thinking. But the other thing that was so phenomenal was Alan Lehman and the entire foundation board came to us as well and invited us to apply. And we also received that grant. I kind of view Brad Hahn as Wells' fairy godfather, if that's a thing.
Yeah, tell me more about them.
Because beyond sponsoring, he made these connections that really put us in a position to serve more women who needed our services. So the reason that we're currently doing a Living Well with the Modesto Streets team is because of Brad's connection that he made. And the Modesto Streets team is a really great organization because they engage our homeless community and help them find vocation and skills. And so we're able to be a part of that now. He's also made a connection in Patterson with Naomi's house that we're talking to. So there's so many opportunities that he's opening doors for us to serve. And I met with him and I said, hey, I'm so excited about this, but I'm also nervous about capacity. So he came up with plans for us to train trainers on a much easier level.
Okay.
And so from Rotarians that are now in our Train the Trainer program, like Joanne Ramos and Dewan is building out our structure to make it easy for us to send out correspondence and communicate.
ELD.
Yes, ELD, hashtag.
Hashtag ELD.
Everybody loves
Dewan.
Dewan.
Yes. Great Rotarian.
It's very true.
Yes.
And Brad said, well, what if we also created a Train the Trainer program where you provide this education training at the organizations that we're bringing the Living Well program to. So now it's so much simpler because we can then, the staff's already there.
Right.
And their organization already loves our program, so it makes it much simpler than trying to build something from scratch. So another thing that was so phenomenal about some of our Rotarian members and well, which I keep talking about, but so in March of 2019, Tony Jordan, the executive director of the Child and Family Services at the Stanislaus County Office of Education, say that in one breath, we had been providing the Living Well program to his staff, but he has so many staff members, thousands. And so he challenged us to create an online program so that it'd be easier to bring our Living Well program to more of his staff members. And so that was March of 2019. A week later, or not even a week later, maybe like 4 or 5 days later, Marianne Cannon and I went to a leadership conference that she had invited me to.
Okay.
At that conference, I met Sharon Dowdell, the person who funded the online program.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, and so we concluded the program in October of 2019, and then COVID hit in March of 2020. So the timing was also incredibly serendipitous because there's no way that we could have predicted this, but it was just kind of a cool thing to see. Tony Jordan challenged us to do this. Then Marianne Cannon invited us to this trip. We met Sharon, who's amazing. And then here we are, COVID hits, everyone's scrambling to get online. And, Zoom's great, but
Sure.
having an actual program where you can have videos and things of that nature. So we were able to bring that, and that's where we were able to serve the San Joaquin Family Justice Center.
Wow.
So, and it's going to be a part of our Train the Trainer program. So it just made things very easy, and the timing was perfect.
Very serendipitous, as they say.
Serendipitous, yes.
Okay. I think with Brad Hahn, I really like the guy, and I don't know if you are just attending Rotary and he is president, like, you get what a neat guy he is, a humanitarian he is, and then like the fact that behind the scenes he is helping so many people and connecting so many people and doing all those things. I don't know that just when he was president of Rotary if people got that depth of him.
Right.
But it exists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny too, because I remember when I received my red badge and Lynn had me come up, and you don't get 5 minutes.
No.
You get
less.
12 seconds.
Sure.
And so in my 12 seconds, I threw Brad under the bus because I said, well, technically I was supposed to be inducted, is that the word? Under David Boring, but because it took so much time with my schedule, I'm under Brad. He straight shoves me off, takes the microphone, and he goes on. I don't even remember what he said, but a Brad tangent, right? It was the funniest. I didn't know him at that level.
Sure.
I thought he was this reserved, because it was before he was fully president.
Right.
I thought he was this reserved, quieter person. And when he did that, I was like, oh my gosh, we're going to be friends. This guy is hysterical.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you see the next layer, and you learn about his son, Scott, and how they completely embraced and just had faith and the miracles of his son.
Yeah. And
then you learn, oh my goodness. So during COVID, I had a meeting outside of Divas, or maybe it's called, it's Divas, right?
I believe, new ownership, I believe it's still called Divas.
Divas. Yeah. And he's building some, it was with Tima. My meeting was with Tima.
Yeah, okay.
Another MoRo.
Yeah, past president.
And he's building something outside. And then him and I had a meeting again at 4:00, same location. I'm like, wow, what are you doing? Oh, I'm building this outdoor structure.
Parklet.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, when I met him at 4:00, he was almost finished. And he donated his time to do that.
Yeah.
He did it for Conchetta. And then unfortunately, the day later, a car ran into it. So he had to rebuild a Conchetta. But and then what he's doing for the homeless community is just outstanding.
Yeah. I mean, Lynn nominated him for Citizen of the Year. He won it through the chamber. And I think a lot of that had to do with the parklet idea.
Yeah.
And then, when I toasted him at the club and he gets up and he immediately starts, deflecting to everybody else who's doing it, which is great. But it's like, no, Brad, you're actually out there building the thing.
Yeah, it's you. It's all you.
Well, I mean, it's not all him, but he quickly was like, hey, you really should think about these other people. And it's like, no, Brad, you're actually like pounding hammers, breaking up concrete, driving wood, making it look great. So you're a big part of this.
For 8 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, on just a regular work day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the homeless, what he's doing for the homeless is, so my husband's in Patterson as well.
Right.
So they've been working together on this Naomi's house. And it's phenomenal. And they're doing it here as well in Modesto.
Okay.
But in Oakdale and all of Stanislaus County. But he's building these structures. Again, he's designing them.
Right.
And then they have programs. So it's vocation, skills, cooking skills so that they can get careers, soft skills. There's so much that's involved in these programs, and he's a huge part of it. He's bringing on the teams and collaborating. It's amazing.
Yeah, neat guy.
Yeah, a lot about Brad here.
And that's okay. That's okay. There should be more about Brad.
I know. He's awesome.
In your journey as a Rotarian, this might kind of go along with your Rotary moment or whatever, but what has surprised you the most? Maybe about our club or about Rotary in general?
Yeah, I think going back to what I said earlier about joining with the expectation that I'm a cog in this, And so I'm here to serve under the capacity that Rotary has in store. So when I was invited by Kate Donovan to be on the international committee, I was fully embraced that and loved it. And it's fun too. Before COVID, she had us come to her house with wine and cheese. I mean, she really hooks you in.
Right. Good.
But what they're doing is so incredible as well.
Right.
It's great. There's actually a board meeting tonight, so it's just a great program. And then when Phil Trumpeter, I'll never forget the email I received from Phil Trumpeter asking me to chair the Love Modesto Virginia corridor. And I thought, okay, well, absolutely. And then he invited me to bring, like, who do you want on this team? Well, first off, I knew nothing about the trail and how to make it nice. I'm not a gardener. I'm not a painter. I'm not a structural person. So I said, Lou Friedman, not understanding that he had been a part of that program.
Oh, the original one.
Yes, and had all the connections. I just knew Lou knows everyone, and so that's who you want on your team. So he turned this little thing into this or in my mind it was little, into this incredible monstrosity, and it's been an incredible fun thing to do. But back to my point, I assumed that was it. I didn't expect everyone to embrace my personal passions. So inviting to be the program, and then even my profession, my financial practice. So many of our members are embracing of that and recommending us to different people that they know. And it really comes back to our 4-way tests. And when we live that out, we do things that are benefiting to all concerned and what's best for those people by tapping our Rotary members. So I think that surprised me the most, just how much they embrace your personal passion.
I'm going to say kudos to you when Phil taps you to do Love Modesto. The easy thing to do is, well, I don't know anything about it, so we better ask somebody else. But you said, yeah, okay. You know, and if even if it was going to be something small, it's better than doing nothing. And then you had the, great luck to tap Lou, who you didn't even know had done the previous thing, but you intuitively knew, hey, Lou knows everybody, right? So kudos, because I think that when some are tapped for service, they think, gosh, if I don't know everything about this, I can't lead. And you can.
Yeah.
You can. You can ask for help. You can ask other people on the committee for help. You can ask a past chairman, like, hey, I want to do the work, but who should I call?
Yeah.
And they're, most everybody in Rotary is very willing to say, oh, okay, well, let me help you out.
Yeah.
Let's spend an hour having lunch, and I'll write down everything I'm going to say, and then you can take it and, go with it. So.
Well, and that's what's so incredible, too. First off, I wasn't afraid to screw up. I think that's the thing, too, because we did screw up a little bit because it started off in April, then COVID hit.
Right.
And then didn't get things done in time, but see, Lou fixed that as well, because we did part 1 on October 5th.
Right.
October 3rd. And then he said, let's do part 2 November 14th. We have more time to work with the city.
Yeah, plant those bushes, yeah.
So even if you screw up when someone taps you, it's okay because Lou will fix it.
There you go. The key lesson here is call Lou Friedman.
Call Lou.
And he'll fix it.
Phone a friend, Lou's the one.
Phone a friend, and Lou is the one. Great. On that, I just want to make a point that second day we were out there, that ground was so hard. Pete Herman is, I think we all kind of know this, he's a really strong guy.
Yeah.
He had a post digger, and he was like, it was like watching a machine dig these posts. We were all giving up because this clay was too hard to get through and everything. And Pete, just boom, we would knock it out and then he'd move on to the next one. Boom, he'd knock that out. And, smile on his face, he's talking to people, and I'm just like, oh, wow, that guy's really strong.
That is awesome. Well, the other funny thing about part 2, 2.0, whatever we want to call it.
Right.
We all brought rakes.
Right.
We all went home with somebody else's rake.
Ah, okay. There's a rake swap?
Yeah, I have some random person's rake in my garage, and somebody has mine.
There you go.
So that was kind of a fun mix-up that happened.
Okay, rake swap party.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to have another event to give everybody back their proper rake.
Bring the rake you have, and we'll
match it up. Past President David Boring had sat in that chair, and he and I had a conversation. I brought this up. So normally when you get to be president, you talk to other people and they, hey, what was it like? And, it's been great. It's wonderful. There are a lot of people, maybe more our age, and you're younger than I am, that they have kids. And so they were like, gosh, I've got kids, they're in school, I can't do anything else right now, which I understand.
Yeah.
However, I wish they wouldn't do that, because I think our club could do with some younger members being president. David agreed, and it's very much like, it can be as much or as little as you want it to be, because the committees are there and all those kind of things. And I think sometimes, especially too, some of these members are very great at scheduling time and doing all those things. So it's like, yeah, it would be a stretch, and it's going to be a hell of a year, but you could do it. And it would just bring a better perspective. So it would bring a younger perspective, but also it's like a parental perspective, which is different than something else. But what are your thoughts? And it's a big lead up to just say, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I love it. I think it's absolutely a brilliant idea, because if you think about it, from all the points that you mentioned, so we would have that fresh perspective. It would be obviously inspiring, but also the kids would be watching their parents.
Yeah,
and that's our future. I mean, they would be really, because they watch what you do, not what you say, and they'll be inspired by their parents, and they'll inevitably be the future of our club. So, I mean, even if they move off and go somewhere else, they'll still be connected to this club. So they'll help us have another 100 years. So I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's wonderful. I didn't even think about it. Like, the kids are watching their parents.
Yeah.
That is great. And you can be younger and not have kids and still be a great president.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hint, hint.
Well, hopefully I'll have kids and
Right. Well, and both. Do both. Yeah.
that's the plan.
Good. People, even just last weekend, people said, well, gosh, it's a lot of work. Yeah, it is. However, it's very rewarding.
Yeah.
So you do as you can, because you don't want to let the club down, and you don't want to let these committee chairs down, and you don't want to let any member down. So it's like, hey, I'm going to do this year of service, and we're going to have the best year that I can possibly offer. But then it's also like, yeah, it is a lot of work. However, you feel good. You feel good because of all that the club is doing and helping, and you see the magic that goes on behind the scenes of people stepping up. And Alana calls Lou Friedman, and he makes the walls come down on a lot of things. So the more that's happening everywhere in our club.
Yeah.
So it's just like, okay, great. It's like a what do they call it? Self-fulfilling circle. I don't know if that's but it's like, the more you see, then the more interested you are, the more hard work you want to do, and it's like this vicious circle in a good way.
Yeah, the upward spiral.
Yeah.
And I have to say, you couldn't have been at a better time as president because of your company.
Right.
I mean, what would we have been doing? I mean, you'd probably be stepping in anyways, but what would we have been doing if you weren't there? Right. Our club would have, who knows? Yeah. Well,
we would have made it, but it was just like
serendipity.
Serendipity, fortuitous. When you're talking about those meetings and attending the conference with Marianne Cannon, that's why was I chosen to be president at this time? Is there a higher power? I think you make an argument for that. So,
absolutely.
Alana, is there anything that you want to add? Anything I missed?
Well, you didn't miss anything, but I think I really believe that in life, fulfillment is key. I think that everyone has that innate desire to serve, to make an impact, to leave some kind of a legacy. And I truly believe that through Rotary, especially MoRo, not to be biased, but that is a great place to fulfill that opportunity, because you're surrounded by like-minded people who maybe you don't know what your passion is or how you want to give back. But if you join MoRo, you're going to figure it out pretty quickly. So I truly feel like that is important for people to know and understand. And I don't know, you look at the people that we keep mentioning and that have been in the club forever and ever, and their lives have been so impacted, and the legacy that they've left in our community is going to be with us for so many years beyond their life, that I think it just inspires those younger people to consider joining.
And they're still in Rotary, and they're still helping
Yeah.
out, like Lynn, like Lou, like Pete Herman, like Brad Hahn.
Yeah.
They didn't,
Kate.
there's, like Kate Donovan, who's newer and who's just been knocking it out of the park.
And Karen Service, who's like one of
Karen's
our
wonderful.
longest members,
Yes.
isn't she?
Yes, she just got Rule of 85. She's like, I remember the meeting. She's like, I remember sitting there going, oh, who are all these old people? And I'm sure we're leaving people out. We don't mean to do that. And they're still in the club.
Yeah.
And they're still doing great. I want to say, and I want to hit this point again, because, if there are people out there listening, watching, if they're in Rotary, if they're in this club, and they haven't gotten involved, sometimes it takes that president to tap you and say,
Yeah.
I want you to lead this, right? But if it hasn't, get involved.
Yeah.
Join a committee, join something maybe you don't think you're interested in,
Yeah.
that's going to stretch you, and hey, you may serve on that committee for a year.
Yeah.
He may go, okay, great, I did it. It's not for me, but I saw how this was working, so I want to go try that. But even more importantly, is if you are tapped, serve.
Yeah.
Serve, because it's rewarding,
Yes.
and somebody's going to help you.
Yeah.
So if you don't know, take a leap of faith
Yeah.
and just say yes, and you're going to figure it out.
Yeah, and you'll make friendships you didn't expect,
Mm-hmm.
especially if I love that you said check out a committee that you may not have considered,
Mm-hmm.
because you'll meet people that you wouldn't have probably sat with back when we sat at the tables
Right.
together or hung out with outside of Rotary. So I think that that's such a good opportunity, because you're going to learn something new, you're going to make new friends, and you'll probably be surprised at what you're capable of too.
Yeah, we might even say that Rotary would open an opportunity for you.
Yeah,
We might say that.
that's a good slogan.
It is a good slogan. I should
I
send
think
that to
it's your
somebody,
year
right?
slogan, maybe.
Oh, is it?
I think so now.
Oh, okay.
Now
good.
it is. Yeah.
Now it is, yeah. Now it is. All right, Elena, well, I want to thank you very much. You're a very busy person.
Thank
You're
you.
helping out people through well, and then you've got your business and your Raymond James, and you're doing that, helping people financially. So thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. I appreciate your perspective. And that is it. That is our last episode this season, if you will, of the MoRo Talk Show. Thank you.